We understand that greatness is never a given. It must be earned. Our journey has never been one of shortcuts or settling for less. It has not been the path for the faint-hearted, for those who prefer leisure over work or seek only the pleasures of riches and fame. Rather, it has been the risk-takers, the doers, the makers of things, some celebrated, but more often men and women obscure in their labor, who have carried us up the long, rugged path towards prosperity and freedom. That our patchwork heritage is a strength, not a weakness. We are shaped by every language and culture, drawn from every end of this earth.
Hi everyone, my name is Sherry, and let me actually first briefly introduce myself. So I came to the United States as an international student. I first went to Harvard Graduate School of Education and majored in international education policy, the master program. It was a one-year program, and directly after graduation, I started my OPT, and I am actually a very proud member of the ASC family, because ASC is my first company. They hired me and sponsored my OPT, and later on H-1B. So I started my career with at ASC English as an international student coordinator. And actually right now, I'm working for a company called Morningstar, which is a financial technology company headquartered in Chicago. And my role is a manager on the customer success product team. It's our second largest revenue-driven product at Morningstar. You may think it's a very big, change from the education industry to the finance industry. And I just want to share a little bit about my, experience and things that you can help yourself prepare to land a later, successful career. So when I was an international student coordinator at ASC English, I had a chance to kind of interact with many different people within the organization. As a fresh graduate, there's really a lot of things you need to learn. And I think the first important thing is you need to be really humble. You might think, oh, this is such a tiny thing, maybe just copy, paste something, paperwork. You may think this is such an easy thing, but I view it differently. I think it's all, steps you need to take to kind of prepare yourself to be a really professional person, a very professional person in career. And while talking to different people within the institution, you kind of learn your people skill. And I think people skill is the most important thing to kind of in the interview process and then be successful in your company. You need to talk to people starting from the interview process, and then once you join the company, you interact with different people from different departments, all with very different personalities. And without the experience at AS English, I wouldn't have the chance to kind of interact with so many different people with very different cultural backgrounds. This is actually, a very important step in my career to kind of help me prepare for my future job at my current company. So I think as an international student, we always need to have a very open mind to start interacting, talk to different people, to learn about their background, to appreciate different, culture, people's background, and then kind of enhance our people skill. At the same time, start networking with different people. The networking, I mean, including the linking networking, you start adding people from LinkedIn that you think, this person has a very interesting background. This person works for the company that I really admire. Just, do not hesitate to click on add, invite them to join the network. You can, by networking, I also mean, you can start reaching out, cold emailing some people you think, work for the company that you really admire. Some people would say, actually on LinkedIn, say, blah, blah person at Google, I'm just making an example, we are hiring. And then when you see people like this on LinkedIn, you can just send them an email and just introduce yourself in your email. Write a very professional email, introduce yourself, say, briefly introduce your background and then express your interest in the company and start a conversation with them. I actually reached out to a couple of people while I was looking for a change from the education field to finance field. It's a big change, and I don't have any finance background. So to prepare myself for the finance industry, there are a couple of things I prepare myself for. One is start networking, very aggressive networking with different people at different firms, but all in the finance industry. So I start linking them, email them, just say, make your email professional, short, brief, to the point, and I actually ask for a brief phone chat for maybe 15 minutes phone call. Just say, I admire your career and I really want to learn about your career path, and then start a chat with you. You will be surprised, people actually respond, and then they're willing to talk to you, share their experience with you. And then you can ask for a reference at the end of the conversation if the conversation really went well. And in the conversation, it's time to kind of show your people skill, right? Once you have very good people skill, you can make the conversation, I guess, in a very good way, talk to people, and then they really like you, and then you can ask for a job or ask for a reference, yes. And another thing is that in finance, I started to learn CFA. I don't know how many of you know about this test, CFA test. So it's a 3-level test, level 1, level 2, level 3. So for companies, so financial companies, it's not a requirement they ask you to have a CFA or CPA title, but it's a nice to have. Or at least for me who is looking to change from one industry to another industry, at least in your resume, showing them you are kind of a progress from, you are on the right, you are making a progress, to get a CFA, will show them you are actually very dedicated to kind of land a career in finance. So for people that are kind of looking to change the industry, I recommend in your resume kind of show the company you're looking for you are actually interested and you're willing to learn and to making a progress to be closer to that industry and start networking with people in that field. Third thing is, I think it's time for you to kind of think about your resume and your cover letter. Reach out to native speaker and then ask them to take a look at your resume if there's anything needs to be changed. And best, if you can get some help from professional human resource office, that would be even nicer. Ask them to take a look at your resume, see if there's anything that you need to modify. Little things like language really matters, and then that can get your resume to the HR to start a first round interview. And then during the interview, it's really about showing the company your people skill. In my experience, I don't really think a industry background or the major really matters that most, especially for junior level. I'm talking about fresh graduate, junior level, when you're looking for a job. Your major, your background doesn't really matter that much, but it's really about during the interview process, how much you know about the company. Do you know them? Do you know what the company are doing? Do you know their background? Do you know the product they're selling? And for the interviewer, have you done any research, the background research on the interviewer? Have you checked on their LinkedIn to see, maybe they graduate from the same school to you, maybe they come from the, similar background to you, find a common interest, and then start your conversation in that way with the interviewer. That really helps to be successful in the interview process. From the visa point, what I want to say is that to international students, you may think it's kind of difficult, but I think it's still doable. It's very doable, but you really need to try hard, including aggressively networking to people, work on your resume, work on your cover letter, start talking to people, to different people from different industry. Just be, professional, but at the same time, aggressive networking with different people will help you land a successful career. The visa pass, usually you start from OPT, right? You graduate from the school, and the school will give you 1-year OPT. I think right now the policy probably changed. If you're a science major or STEM, the major, you have 3-year OPT. I'm not very sure, but the OPT time doesn't differ from 1 year to 3 years. I'm not sure if I'm right, but the OPT is the time that you can reach out to the companies and start career with them. And then what really matters is from OPT to H-1B, you want to make sure you find the company that is willing to sponsor H-1B. Right now, not a lot of companies are willing to sponsor H-1B jobs. When I was looking for jobs, I used a website called myvisajob.com. So you can check on that. So that company, when you kind of key in the company name, it will show you how many visas and what type of visa they sponsor during which year, how many of them have been approved, how many of them have been rejected. All these kind of show you if the company is willing to sponsor H-1B or not. So when I was in my OPT at ASC English, I did use my visa jobs to kind of search ASC English, how many visas they helped us sponsor, and I found, they do sponsor H-1B job. So you want to make sure your employer at least is willing, or they sponsored H-1B in the past. That's very important, because you don't want to kind of finish OPT and then you don't have any time left, but your employer in the end told you that no, we do not sponsor H-1B. That does happen. Some companies, they take OPT, but they're not willing to sponsor H-1B. To the companies, H-1B is a big commitment as well, from both the money side and the time side. They have to, they're making a commitment to you as well. So do your homework. Use those websites, LinkedIn, myvisajobs.com, and then reach out to different resources, your teacher at language school, ask them to help you revise your resume. Take a look at your resume, your thank you email, your outreach email, to make sure there's no grammar mistake or those simple mistake, and then start talking to people. I personally really learned a lot from ASC English, even though the industry is so different to what I'm doing right now, but I learned so much from it. One, like I said, is really the people skill, the way you talk to different people. You want to be a likable person. That's very important, so that's what you want to learn. And then the second is there are many resources at ASC actually. Myself, I have a lot, the best colleagues. I ask them to take a look at my writing to help me kind of polish my writing skills. So these are actually things you can do. Any questions here actually? I know my experience is kind of different, but the reason why I wanted to change the industry to finance, I love ASC, it's the education, it's my major, but I wanted to try something different. I think I come from China, and then in China I was a math major. As a math major, I'm really, sensitive to numbers. So I think maybe trying a finance major could give me something different. I just tried something different when I was young. That's why, I changed my career from education to finance. And right now, I'm also very happy with my company. It has a very great culture. Everyone's very friendly, and I actually moved to different functions within my company. I started in our Chicago office first, and then moved to New York, and then went to London office, came back to Boston. So there's a lot of different opportunities you can have with a kind of big conglomerate. You have a lot of different things you can try. I was first a data analyst, and then I tried equity analyst, and then tried to be a product person. So the future is really bright here for international students, but we just need to try as hard as we can. A lot of areas we need to kind of improve ourselves. Just aggressively networking with people, looking on LinkedIn. I was actually on LinkedIn every 10 minutes, refresh my LinkedIn when I was looking for a job. Another experience I can share is that I also share the post by my LinkedIn contacts. I just share the post on my LinkedIn and make some comments there, just to kind of show the HRs that I'm active on LinkedIn, and I'm following the industry. So I think this is also something you can try. I believe on LinkedIn there's also a statistics page. You can kind of see who viewed your page, or how, social media wise, what's the rank of your LinkedIn page. If I'm right, there's a page you can check if your rank is number 1 or number 2, or what are the areas you can kind of make your LinkedIn profile better. But you can see who are the people view your page. These things. Any questions?
Thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Paul.